Uh, Good evening. Hi guys, can you hear me? Hi everyone, can you hear me? Can you please just indicate if you can hear me? Hi everyone, I'm trying to check if you can hear me. Sorry guys, our mic was not working. Now we'll start again. We didn't see that our mic wasn't working. The lesson has been on for like 10 minutes now. It's just that we are not aware that you guys cannot hear me. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Again, let me just greet you. Good day, good afternoon, students. I would like to warmly welcome you once again into our final lesson here at Zululand Training Institution. First of all, I want to congratulate each one of you for reaching this stage of the course. Your dedication, your participation, commitment throughout the program have been highly appreciated. Today marks our last lesson, and I encourage all of you to remain focused until the end. Please make sure that you study your notes carefully, you complete your assignments, and prepare well for your examination. Your your effort during this final stage will determine your success of the course. So after the course and the examination are completed, you will receive the further instruction on how to access your certificates, and the message will be sent into our WhatsApp group explaining the process and the steps you need to follow to obtain your certificate going forward. Please make sure that you stay active in the group so that you don't miss out on those important updates. So, for today's lesson, we will be covering the most important topics, of which are compliance, labor laws, and business ethics. That is Module 2. And then we will be covering also our Module 6, tendering and procurement strategy. And we'll also look at our Module 9 project closeout and handover, and so as Module 10 subcontracting and procurement strategies. These topics, guys, are actually very important in the construction industry because they help ensure that projects are managed legally, ethically, and professionally from start to completion. Once again, thank you for being part of this learning journey with us. Continue working hard and give your your best until the final assessment. We are proud of your progress you have made, and we wish the success in your examination and so as your future career. So, guys, let us go to our module 2, compliance, labor laws, and so as business ethics. I know that some of you may even ask yourself, what is that? Don't worry, I got you guys covered. So, guys, what you need to know is that in construction industry, every project must be conducted legally, safely, and ethically. Compliance with labor laws and regulations ensures that workers are protected and that construction companies operate responsibly. Construction companies must follow the regulations set by the government, the industry authorities to ensure worker safety, fair labor practices, legal business operation, and ethical conduct. So, failure to comply with these laws may lead to penalties, project delays, fines, or legal actions. Um, Maybe some of you might be asking yourself, what is compliance? Yes, what is compliance? Okay. Compliance refers to following laws, regulations, standards, and policies that govern the construction industry. Construction companies must comply with the labor laws, safety regulations, tax requirements, contract regulations, and environmental standards. So compliance ensures that the projects are conducted legally and so as responsibly. Let us talk about the labor laws in construction uh, industry. Guys, this is module 2. We are on module 2. Let us talk about the labor law in the construction industry. Labor laws, they protect the rights and the safety of workers. They ensure that employees receive fair wages, safe working conditions, proper working hours, and protection against unfair treatment. So, here in South Africa, labor regulations are overseen by the Department of Labor. This department is responsible for monitoring labor practices, enforcing labor laws, protecting workers' rights, and also ensuring workplace safety. Okay, let us look at the business ethics in construction. The business ethics they refer to the moral principles that guide behavior in business operation. So in construction, ethical behaviors they include honesty in tendering, fair treatment of workers, transparency in contracts, avoiding corruptions and bribery, and also delivering quality work. Ethical practices build trust between contractors, clients, and the public. The module that we're actually on, it's module 2. It's module 2. Okay. Let us talk about the tax clearance certificate. A tax clearance certificate. So, guys, a tax clearance certificate it proves that the business is compliant with tax obligations. It confirms that the company has paid their tax, submitted their returns, met its tax responsibilities. So the certificate is issued by the South African Revenue Services, of which is SARS. So the importance of the tax clearance certificate. Um, so the importance of the tax clearance certificate. It allows the companies to participate in government tenders. It proves the company is tax compliant. It builds trust with the clients and partners, and it is often required before awarding contract. So, without the valid tax clearance certificate. A company cannot legally practice in many tenders. I hope we got that one. Now let us look at the Cordia Act, Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Diseases Act. So with the Code Act, it protects the employees who are injured or became ill due to work activities. So this law actually ensures that workers receive compensation for workplace injuries or occupational diseases. So the purpose of this Code Act, it aims to provide compensation for the injured workers, cover medical expenses, support workers who cannot work due to injuries, protect the worker's family if the worker dies from the workplace injuries. So, the employer's responsibility under the Code Act, employers must register their company with the compensation fund. They must pay their annual contributions, report workplace injuries, and also to maintain the records of accidents. So, should it happen that the company fails to comply, it can result into penalties or legal consequences. Yes, guys, we are still on module 2. Let us proceed. Now we will be talking about Occupational Health and Safety Act number 85 of 1993. So this one is just the primary law that ensures safe and healthy working environment in South Africa. The act requires employers to protect workers from the hazards in the workplace. So the objective for this act aims to promote workplace safety, prevent accident and injuries, protect workers from health hazards, also to improve safety standards in the workplace. So the employer's responsibility under this act, they must provide the safe working environment, identify potential hazards, provide safety trainings to workers, and to supply PPE, the protective equipment. So now this means that the employer cannot charge you for giving you EPPE. It is mandated that they supply you with that PPE. And for those who doesn't know what is PPE, it can be those hard hats that they were using, the helmets, the safety boots, the gloves, the safety goggles, those reflective clothing, you name them. So the employee's responsibility, they must follow the safety rules, use protective equipment, PPE, report if ever there is an unsafe condition, know and act, and also to participate in safety trainings. So, guys, safety it is a shared responsibilities between employers and employees. Okay, now let us talk about the Department of Labor, UDOL. Excuse me, Department of Labor. So with the Department of Labor, those ones they play an important role in enforcing those labor laws. Their responsibilities include conducting workplace inspection, investigating accident, enforcing safety regulations, and also ensuring compliance with the labor legislation. So if ever the companies failed to follow the labor laws, the department may then issue the warnings, impose fine, and also to shut down those unsafe workplaces. Okay, so let us talk about the safety integration in construction. Safety must be integrated into every stage of the construction project. So this includes the planning stage, the design stage, the construction stage, and so as the project completion. A strong safety culture helps prevent accident and protect workers at the same time. Let us talk about the safety file requirements. A safety file is just a document that contains all health and safety information related to that construction project. Guys, we are still on module 2, guys. We are still on module 2. So it is required by the Occupational Health and Safety Act 1993 of 85 and construction regulation. So the safety file must be available at the site at all times. So the content of the safety file, a safety file usually contains the health and safety policy, the risk assessment, the safety procedures, incident reports, worker training records, equipment, inspection records, and emergency procedures. So the importance of the safety file, it helps to ensure compliance with the safety laws, protect workers on site, provide evidence during inspection, and also to improve safety management. So safety officers and inspectors may request the file during the site inspections. So what happens if the company is non-compliant? So should it happen that the company fail to comply with the labor laws and the safety regulation, it may result in the legal penalties, financial fines, project shutdown, the loss of contract, and worker injuries or fatalities. Therefore, compliance is essential for successful construction projects. So, guys, in conclusion, with our module 2, which is our compliance. So, compliance, labor laws, and the business ethics plays a critical role in construction industry. They ensure that construction company operate legally, ethically, and safely. So, understanding the regulations such as Occupational Health and Safety Act 85 of 1993, and so as the Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Diseases Act, helps protect workers and ensure responsible construction practices. I hope we all understood that one. Now we'll be moving into our module 6. That was the end of our module 2. Now we will be moving into our module 6, of which is tendering, procurement strategy. Tendering and procurement strategy. Maybe some of you are even asking yourself, what is tendering, procurement strategy? So, guys, you don't need to worry, I got you. Tendering and procurement strategies refers to the process of planning how materials, labor, services, and contractors will be acquired for a construction project. So, a good procurement strategy ensures that the right contractor is selected, materials are purchased at the right price, work is completed on time, and the project stays within the budget. Tendering pricing is critical responsibility of the contractors because it determines whether the company whether the company wins the contract and still make profit. We are now at our module 6, guys. Module 6. Now let us talk about the direct cost, also known as the primary cost. So cost are expenses that are directly related to the construction work on site. So these costs can be clearly traced to specific activities in the project. For example, the labor wages, the construction materials, that one can include maybe the cement, the bricks, the steel, you name it, the equipment, and so as the machinery, the subcontractor cost, and so as the site utilities used for construction. For example, if a contractor is building a wall, direct cost will include bricks, cement, the labor for the bricklayers, the mortar materials, and so on. So these costs are known as primary cost because they are direct connected to construction activities. And then we have those indirect costs, also known as overhead cost. Indirect costs are expenses that support the construction project but are not directly linked to the specific work item. They are also known as overhead cost. For example, an office administration, site supervision, the insurance, transport, communication cost, and so as company management salaries. So these costs must still be included in the tender price, otherwise the contractor may suffer financial losses. Now let us talk about the SANS principles, standardized civil pricing, the SANS 1200. So with the SANS, it is the set of standard specification used in civil engineering and construction projects in South Africa. These standards helps to ensure consistent and fair pricing for construction work. The purpose of SANS 1200 standardize is to standardize construction specification, ensure uniform pricing methods, improve transparency in tenders, and also to make cost comparison easier between the contractors. It is widely used in civil engineering projects such as roads, pipelines, and the infrastructure development. Now let us look at the accuracy of pricing, the danger of unbalanced rates. Unbalanced rates, yeah. So now with the unbalanced rate, they occur when the contractor they occur when the contractor intentionally prices some items too high and others too low in the bill of quantities. This is often done to gain an advantage in the tender processes. For example, a contractor may price excavation very low, price the concrete very high. If the project later requires more concrete, the contractor will make extra profit. But now, the problem caused by the unbalanced rate, number one, it misleads pricing, the financial risk of the clients, the project disputes, and unfair competition. Therefore, accurate and balanced pricing is essential. So the three categories of pricing. So when preparing tenders, contractors generally consider three pricing categories. Number one, it is the material cost. Cost of construction materials such as cement, steels, the steel, bricks, timber, and so on. So material cost often represent a large portion of the project cost. Number two, we've got the labor cost. These ones they include payments to the workers such as those skilled laborers, the semi-skilled and those unskilled laborers. So labor costs also include overtime payments and allowances. And then we have the plant and equipment cost. So these they include the cost of machinery and the tools used in construction. For example, it can be those excavators, the cranes, the concrete mixers, scaffolding, you name them. So proper pricing ensures that the equipment usage is covered in the tender price. And then the the inclusive rate principle. The inclusive rate principle. So it means that each rate in the bill of quantities must include all costs necessary to complete the work items. So this one it can include the labor, the material, the equipment, the transport, those overheads, profit, and so on. So, for example, if the BOQ includes brickwork per square meter, the price must include the bricks, mortar, labor, tools, transport, and the contractor profit. So this prevent the hidden cost later in the projects. And then we have the escalation and contract price adjustments provisions. We all also we if it's abbreviated it's CPAP, escalation and contract price adjustment provisions. So construction project may may last many months or years, and prices of materials and labor can change during this time. So to manage this risk, contractors may include price adjustment mechanism. One example. So one example is the sorry. Now let us look at the purpose of the contract price adjustment provision. The CPAP. The CPAP it allows the contract price to be adjusted when the construction cost increase due to inflation or the market changes. So this protect both the contractor and so as the client. For example, examples of the price escalation. If if the price of the steel increases significantly during the project, the contractor the contract price may be adjusted to reflect the increased cost. Without the CPAP, contractors might lose money, stop work, and also delay the project. So let us look at the importance of procurement strategies in construction. A strong procurement strategy helps to ensure that the materials are delivered on time, suppliers are reliable, costs are controlled, and the project remains profitable. So, effective procurement management is essential for a successful construction project delivery. The role of the project manager in procurement. So, now this is your role in procurement and the responsibilities and the responsibilities. So, managing tender processes, evaluating suppliers' bids, monitoring procurement activities, controlling project cost, and also ensuring that materials meet the required standard. So proper procurement management ensures that construction activities run smoothly. So in conclusion with our module 6, uh, tendering and procurement strategy plays a vital role in construction project management. Understanding the direct and the indirect cost, accurate, accurate pricing, standardized specifications such as SANS 1200, and practice adjustment mechanism like CPAP helps contractors to prepare competitive and realistic tenders. So students studying here at Zululand Trading Institute must understand this concept because pricing and procurement decisions directly affect the success and the profit and the pro and the profitability of the construction project. So guys, that was our end of our module 6. Now we will be moving into our module 9. As I've said, guys, we will be touching on these modules since this is our last lesson. So let us just quickly move to module 9, project closeout and handover. Module 9, which is our project closeout and handover. Maybe some of you are asking yourself, what is that? What is the project closeout and handover? Okay, so guys, what you need to know is that a project closeout is the final phase of construction project where all construction activities are completed and the project is officially handed over to the client. So this stage ensures that all work is completed according to the contract, defects are identified and corrected, final payments are processed, and documentation is handed to the client. So proper project closeout ensures that the client can safely use the building or the infrastructure. Now let us look at practical completion versus work completion. Two important terms in construction project completion are practical completion and works completion. Although they are related, they do not mean the exact same thing. So with the practical completion, this one occurs when the project is sustain sorry occurs when the project is substantially complete and can be used for its intended purpose, even if there are small defects remaining. For example, of those minor defects, small paint touch-ups, maybe the loose doors handles, maybe those minor finishing work and so forth. So at this stage, the client can begin using the building, a snag list or the defect list is created and the defect liability period begins. And then now let us look at let us look at the work completion. So work completion occurs when all the construction work is fully completed. This include fixing all the defect listed during the practical completion. So this means all the work items are finished, all defects are corrected, and the contractor has met all the contract requirements. So work completion usually occurs after the defect liability period. We will be talking about that one. And then, guys, we do have the final account. The final account is the final financial statement of construction project. It shows the actual total cost of the project after all adjustments. The final account is prepared by the quantity surveyor or the project manager. So, the components of the final account, number one, the variations. The variations are changes made to the original construction contract. So this can include maybe the design change, the additional work requested by the client, the changes in materials, and the site conditions adjustment, you name them. So variation can increase or decrease the project cost. And then we've got the claims. The claims occur when the contractor requests additional time or payment due to unexpected circumstances. This includes the delays caused by the weather, the late delivery of materials, the changes in the design, and so as the unforeseen site conditions. So claims must be properly documented and approved. And then we have the retention. So the retention is a portion of the contractor's payment withheld by the client until the project is fully completed. So this money acts as a security to ensure that the contractor fixes the defect. For example, if the contractor's retention is 5%, the client keeps the 5% of the payments until the contractor finishes all the required work. The retention is normally released um, half at the practical completion and the remaining amount after the defect liability period. And then we have the handover documentation, also known as the closeout file. So when the project is completed, the contractor must provide handover documentation to the client. This documentation is often called the closeout file. The closeout file contains important information about the completed project. So the content of the closeout file includes the as-built drawings, the sorry, the operation and maintenance manuals, the warranties and the guarantees, the equipment manuals, inspection certificates, compliance certificate, safety documentation, and so as those test reports. These documents helps the client operate and maintain the building or the infrastructure. And then we've got the latent defect liability period. So the latent defect liability period refers to the time after the project completion during which hidden defects may still appear. A latent defect is a latent defect is a defect that was not visible during the inspection at the completion. So this one can include the structural cracks appearing later, maybe the plumbing leaks inside the walls, or maybe that electrical fault hidden in the system. So if these defects appear during the liability period, the contractor may still be responsible for fixing them. So the importance of this project closeout, it ensures that the client receives a fully functioning project, all financial matters are settled, defects are corrected, legal and contractual obligations are fulfilled, and documentation is properly handed over. A well-managed closeout process improves the client's satisfaction and the contractor's reputation. Now, let us look at your role as a project manager when it comes to close out. So the project manager plays a crucial role during the project close out. And the responsibilities they include inspecting completed work, coordinating coordinating final inspection, managing the defects list, ensuring documentation is complete, finalizing the project account, and organizing project handover. So, a good project manager ensures that the project is successfully completed and delivered to the client. So, in conclusion, with our is it our module? So, in conclusion, on our module, the project closeout and the handover represent the final stage of the construction project life cycle. Understanding the difference between practical completion and work completion, managing the final accounts, and preparing proper handover documents are essential responsibility in construction project management. So you as the students that are studying here at Zululand Training Institute must understand these processes because successful project completion depends on effective closeout management. Guys, I hope we are still together. Now we will be looking at our last module, module 10. Yes, we will be looking at our last module, module 10, of which is subcontracting procurement strategy. Subcontracting and procurement strategy. Okay, I'm sure some of you are asking yourself, what is subcontracting? Okay. In construction projects, the main contractor is often responsible for managing the entire project. However, the contractor may hire other specialized companies or individuals to perform specific tasks. So these are called subcontractors. So subcontracting allow contractors to assess specialized skilled and expertise that may not exist within their companies. So here are some examples that I have for you for subcontracted work. Um, so they might include maybe those electrical installation, the plumbing work, roofing, painting, air conditioning system, or even carpentry. So guys, you name them. So subcontracting improve efficiency and quality because they are specialized to perform that work. So now let us talk about subcontractor selection. So selecting the right subcontractor is very important for the success of the construction project. The contractor must evaluate subcontractors based on their experience, technical skills, financial stability, safety, safety performances, and so as quality of previous work. So, poor subcontractor selection can also lead to project being delayed, poor workmanship, contract dispute, and so as those financial losses. Okay, guys, we've got the types of subcontractors. There are two types of subcontractors that are actually being used in construction. Number one, we've got the domestic subcontractors. So the domestic subcontractors are chosen directly by the contractor. So the main contractor selects the subcontractor, negotiates the price, and manage the subcontractor's work. The advantages about the subcontractors, this type of subcontractors, there is a greater control for the contractor and flexible negotiation processes. So the disadvantage about this subcontractors, the contractors take full responsibility of the subcontractors' performances. And then we have the nominated, also known as the selected subcontractors. So the nominated subcontractors are chosen by the client, the architect, or the consultant, not by the contractor. The contractor is then required to use the nominated subcontractors. So the advantages about this one, the client can choose specialized expert. The disadvantage about this one, the contractor has less control over the performance. So now let us look at drafting those subcontract agreements. So a subcontract agreement is a legal contract between the main contractor and the subcontractor. This agreement clearly explains the scope of work, the payment terms, the project schedule, the quality standard, and the responsibility of each party. Clear agreements helps prevent misunderstandings and disputes. And then we also have those back-to-back contract terms. The back-to-back contract means that it means that the subcontractor's obligations match the main contractor's obligations under the main contract. So this ensures that the subcontractors must follow the same conditions, standards, and deadlines as required in the main contract. For example, if the main contract requires work to be completed within 60 days, the subcontractor agrees must also require the subcontractor to meet the same deadline. So the back-to-back terms helps protect the main contractor from the contractual risk. And then performing and monitoring. So once the subcontractor begin working, their performance must be monitored carefully. So monitoring it ensures that subcontractors complete the work on time, maintain quality standards, follow safety procedures, and also to meet the contract requirements. So monitoring methods include site inspection, progress meetings, work reports, and so as the quality inspection. So the effective monitoring helps ensure that the project stays on schedule and within the budget. Guys, we are on module 10, the last module. We are on module 10 for those who cannot find um, the notes. Just go to your module 10, guys. And then we've got the termination of subcontract agreements. Sometimes a subcontractor may fail to meet the contractual obligation. In such cases, the main contractor may need to terminate the subcontractor agreement. So, common reason for this termination may include number one, the poor workmanship, failure to meet the deadlines, safety violations, financial problems, and also the breach out of contract. So terminating must follow the legal procedures and contract condition. Improper termination can lead to legal disputes. And then we've got the payment management. Payment management ensures that the subcontractors are paid correctly and on time. So payment usually follow these processes. Subcontractors submit a payment claim. The contractor will verify the completed work. Payment is going to be approved, and then the payment is made according to the contract terms. So some payments may include retention money to ensure that the work is completed properly. So good payment management helps maintain the strong working relationship with the subcontractors. And then, yes, yes, sorry. And then we have the anti-fronting regulations. So, fronting is an illegal practice where companies misinterpret their empowerment status or ownership structure to gain contract. For example, a company may claim to be a black owned or a triple BE a compliant when it is not truly controlled by when it's not truly controlled by the declared owners. Sorry. So South Africa has a strict law, have a strict laws to prevent fronting and under the broad-based Black Economic Empowerment Act. So the purpose for the anti-fronting regulation, these regulations they ensure that the empowerment policies are applied fairly. Genuine black-owned business benefit from opportunities and corruption and fraud are prevented. So, consequences of fronting companies found guilty of fronting, they may face heavy financial penalties, cancellation of contract, criminal charges, and so as blacklisting from government tenders. Therefore, contractors must ensure that all subcontractors are legitimately registered and compliant. Okay. The importance of subcontracting